Hello, lovely Gemini. Ali from Indigo Ascension. If this is your first time here, thank you for watching. If you are a returning viewer, this is going to be your July Practically Soulful monthly reading. Now, guys, unique and new to Instagram are the weekly quick reads, okay? So that's the quick energy check-in, if you like, for all of the zodiac. So head on down to the description box below, where you're going to see links to my Instagram, but you'll also see links to my Facebook and website address, where you can learn a little bit more about the work that I do as an intuitive energy healer, if you are interested in finding that out. The July readings are going to be a little bit different. I'm treating them as a check-in, a crossroads, if you like, halfway through the year. As many of us know, we can start the year with certain heartfelt intentions and desires, but obviously it's been quite the journey to, you know, globally we're noticing there's been a lot of change, a lot of unexpected upheaval and shifting sands, if you like, for many of us, okay? So how we start the year is not always going to be how we end the year, for sure. So I want to do these monthly readings in a unique reading style to give us a crossroads check-in point, okay, Gemini? I also like to do a planetary placement overview at the beginning of each reading, because as above, so below. Now, if you haven't already sort of followed astrology, we are smack bang in the middle of retrograde season, as well as experiencing our third eclipse of a series of 3 on the 5th of July. It'll be a full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn. We've also got a new moon in Cancer on the 20th of July, and the retrograde planets that are at play that I like to think of as an alchemical recipe that we can tap into, if we like, for greater change, greater transformation, but at the very least a greater understanding of why things may be going and happening the way they are, why we're experiencing certain things, okay? Retrogrades take us back through the timeline. The past comes back to play. We review our timeline, everything we have learned, seen, and experienced. And yes, that can sometimes look like people coming back from the past, or at least our thoughts and desires to reconnect into the past. On deeper levels, perhaps, though, Gem, we're desiring to connect back into the wisdom that we probably didn't integrate, all right? There's very big themes. As we close off a Capricorn and Cancer ecliptical cycle since 2018, there's been very big themes around the masculine and feminine balancing within us and externally within our connections. We're really looking at the roles of the feminine, the roles of the masculine, and you can see that being mirrored out there in the collective and the different themes that we've seen happening globally, okay? These new ways of viewing the roles of gender, or whatever the case may be, all of it, you know, is being affected by this ecliptical cycle that we've been on. More importantly, as individuals, as empaths, intuitives, and sensitives that find themselves on the awakening path, we've had a beautiful opportunity to really balance the feminine aspects within ourselves, and how that is then mirrored within connection, perhaps. 2020 is a foundational year. It reduces into the number 4. It's also the master 22. So what has life taught me? What have I been learning? How am I integrating the wisdoms from my past? More importantly, what new foundations do I want to build for myself now that I've awakened to these new ways of seeing what I've learned, seeing myself, seeing the reasons behind why things had to happen the way they did, perhaps, Gemini. And also, too, it is about you know, creating those foundations from this newfound wisdom. It's great to say that we're connected into higher consciousness, spiritual wisdom, but it's quite the other to truly integrate that on the 3D. You know, that is perhaps where the embodiment journey becomes very challenging, because that dense energy clashes with that higher light, if you like. But it is here where we experience action. It is a vital ingredient that we embrace and courageously choose to act upon our will, so that we can engage with manifestation energy. Because thought, prayer, meditation is great and all, but it is action that begins that alchemical explosion in our physical reality. Yeah? All right. We're going to do 3 energy, soul energy cards, if you like, Gemini. And I've got adversity, indecision, and self-esteem for you. All right, these are the energies that are perhaps permeating your reality, your year. 2020 has very much been about teaching you the wisdom of adversity, teaching you about the wisdom and empowerment that comes with being decisive, or perhaps feeling stuck in indecision. And also the wisdoms that come from really getting in touch with esteem and what self-esteem and, more importantly, healthy self-esteem means for us, all right? Certainly we can retrograde through the timeline and see how those energies have presented upon our path, raised in our awareness and taught us things, and we're really reviewing ways in which to finalize that this year, perhaps Gemini, for many of the Geminis that I'm connecting into. How I've structured this reading, okay, is choosing 3 soul cards. 3 is the energy, is the number of creativity and change, transformation. And then I've got 6 consciousness cards, okay? This is you consciously being aware of what you wanted to close off, heal, activate this year. And this is this row underneath is what your subconscious wanted, or perhaps your higher self wanted for you. So it's interesting to see how these mirror, all right? Also, too, it's interesting to see how these clash on many levels, okay? And 6 is the number of harmony, alrighty? We need harmony to bring about creative change. We need creativity to bring in harmony and activate it within our lives. But let's take a look, my lovely Geminis, underneath the deck on your consciousness level, in your awareness. You knew in many ways the past was going to be surfacing in one way or another, that there was going to be a closing of a massive chapter. You were desiring a karmic balance even, is what I want to say. Maybe there's something here relevant to the last 20 months, 20 years, take it however resonates, whenever you were 20, okay, is significant. You knew that something about this year, 2020, was going to help you close off, or that the energy of judgment would be at play, okay? Take that however it resonates. We're rising from the ashes of the past in many ways when the judgment, there's an opportunity for growing from what you grew within, okay? You knew that would happen this year. Let's take a look at the top row of the cards, and then I'm going to read the soul energy, the energy of the soul cards. The King of Wands, the 5 of Swords, the Hermit card, the Ace of Wands, the Queen of Swords, and the 5 of Wands. Okay, you were wanting a new beginning. You were wanting an exciting beginning, perhaps after a time of confidently dealing with conflict, or perhaps I'm going to say avoiding it. See how when I place these 2 together, conflict has followed you in many ways, or the memories of conflict, the memories of conflict with others, as much as you tried to step into your power, step into confidence, all right? I just see this turning away. You knew on deeper levels that it would come up in some way this year, how you deal with conflict, or something that made you feel conflicted that perhaps didn't end well. You might be connecting into a Virgo. You might have had to then spend some internal review time this year, okay, to really, because I feel like there's an avoidance here. An avoidance of addressing a conflict, an avoidance of acknowledging this energy. Maybe the last 5 years is significant, okay? All right, but there's a turning away here and a focus on, like, make no mistake, the King of Wands is very confident, very excited, very passionate, very sure of himself, okay? So maybe pride got in the way, or there was like this indecision, okay, about how best to deal with adversity from the past, but ultimately it affected self-esteem, and I think there was a need to really go within them, wanting to reclaim like the authentic original energy of this King of Wands. The King of Wands rules Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries, okay, but he's the king, and that's his original wand. You know, that original wand guides his confidence, guides what, you know, about authentically connecting back into why you're confident, because when we're in avoidance, it can be just showing face, is what I'm sensing here and what I'm hearing. This is about you. This time of going within had to happen so that you could really identify the source, your original divine gift of connecting into genuine confidence, all right? And how that actually is fueled by self-esteem. Because we can have a healthy self-esteem or an unhealthy one, yeah? I possess the gifts of the soul that benefits others. Now, I just really wanted to point that out because there was something here that we didn't quite grasp, something that was right in front of me. As much as I turned away or didn't want to address it, it was right in front of me. What I was looking for was this. You know, this is, you know, the Ace of Wands is passion, excitement. It is creativity. It's divine fire. I wanted my divine fire and I made decisions. I turned away, or I created conflict, or I was involved in conflict and then turned away from conflict because I was looking for divine fire. I was looking for passion. I was looking for excitement, and I was not addressing something there, Gemini. Let me just intuit. Because the past is coming back. The memories of the past. And a healing was needed. This all tells a story to me, okay? Especially with the Hermit card. I needed to heal something so that I could truly embrace this energy. Like I see many, I'm just going to say Virgo. I see many Geminis were wanting to really, you wanted 2020 to be like this. All right? Maybe the month of May is significant because you've got 2 5s. But what 2020 has been for you instead has been a year of drastic change that forced you to really go within. There was this energy of excitement, contained excitement, but it ultimately turned into conflict. I don't know why I'm feeling that when I see this, because she is facing this internal conflict now. It's almost like some Geminis are only just now, or since May, or the last 5 weeks particularly, they are willing to face this thing. And it's like, I really want to pull some more cards, because it was like this thing that you didn't look at, didn't address, and you at one point then had to go within. Okay? And what it's going to do is give you what you were looking for anyway. It's a reignition within self, within the energy body, within the passion body, within the fire body, about feeling passionate about your path and purpose again. But a boundary had to be put down here, okay? Especially in the realms of inner conflict, really addressing and facing inner conflict. This was the year for change, Gem, all right? This was certainly the year for change. Because you've got 2 5s there. This was the year to address stuff from the past, to truly bring divine and celestial healing. Maybe last November kicked off this period for you, because the Temperance card is ruled by Sagittarius. And also, guys, you have just kicked off an ecliptical cycle with Sagittarius. I was just going to say the Sagittarius lunar eclipse. Now, you haven't had your Gemini eclipse yet, okay? And that's happening, I think, in August. Let me just take a quick look. I'm obsessed now, because I think it's relevant for you guys. I've done so many email readings where I've mentioned these dates, and do you think I can remember the eclipses? I know we had a trifecta in June, July. And then we have a bit of a pause. I'm just going to say November, but it's not. It's sooner. It's September, I think. Could even be August. Just a second, Gemini. So you guys have you are leading in the North Node. You're leading at the North Node. This is about where to from here. Feeling excited about the path ahead, Gemini. But in order to do that, to truly make that step forward into the future. You have an ace. You wanted an ace this year. You consciously knew this year was going to be about a beginning, okay? But in order to sometimes do that, Gem, we have to acknowledge the role of the past. Now, you're not leading the South Node. The South Node is being led by Sagittarius, which a lot of Sagittarians, or if you've got Sagittarius in your chart, are going to be really identifying the wisdom and lessons of the past and acknowledging them first and foremost. Lunar eclipse in Gemini. It's not until November 30th, love. So between now and November, Like I said, it might have been November last year. That's what I'm seeing here, okay? So November 30th is huge. You originally wanted this year to be about a new beginning. You deep down knew that something would come up. There's a time to heal the past in some way, that you would be judged, another would be judged for healing that needed to happen. And maybe you do this as a solo journey. Maybe it can only be done solo. See, the Hermit is not just he's not focused on the future, he's not focused on the past. His wisdom is gained simply by the light that he shines on the here and now. And if anything is affecting me here and now, yes, it may be because of beliefs. It may be because of challenges from the past. It may be because I refuse to change on some level. This is what I'm feeling, all right, guys? Because this is like control energy. I'm holding on to something that had to be broken, that had to be taken away. There's an ending here so that foundations can truly be built. Look, we are in 2020, which is a 4-year foundations. This is a foundational card. It's also like a control, like my control, like the reins were stripped from me. I'm no longer in control, Gemini. This is an awakening card. An awakening had to happen on some level. You are aware of this to heal something all the way through to this November, or it may have started last November. You may have even addressed it in one way or another. There's a lot of thought energy here. There's swords and then there's fire. You've been, maybe your thoughts lead you to fire, and that could be passion, that could be anger, that could be frustration. It's about balancing that energy. There is no water here. There is no coins. There's no grounding here. There is no authentic emotional connection. It's almost like an explosion is what I feel. Like an explosion had to happen so that a true balancing could happen. Wow, 44. The 4 of Swords, again, going within, going into temple. This is alone. This is about really looking at the past, and all I can take with me is the picture and the memory. All right? He's put down his sword. After all this conflict energy, after all this ignition energy, like an explosion and a crashing had to happen internally is what I'm feeling here. The 44 is the master builder, so I can truly build from the inside out, Gemini. Like, you subconsciously knew this. Maybe it wasn't until June, July, 6, 7, that you awaken to this higher awareness, okay? Because I feel like even September is relevant. And when is your thing? It's November. September is relevant. I feel like many Geminis that I'm connecting into are at a critical point. Like, you can get lost in your thoughts. You can get lost in your fire body at this time, because we are only like, I'm only just hitting 30th of June now, but this is your July reading. But June and July are significant crossroads points for you to truly put down some boundaries and to recognize, okay? Recognition, boundaries, recognize this wisdom, this deeper wisdom that has been trying to come up and at you. You are spiritually protected. You are healed through this, but it's almost like I feel like an unblocking happens. You don't even really have to do anything. This is about, well, I'm not saying you don't have to do anything. What you do have to do is go in. What you've been avoiding is the going in. You've avoided going in to really look at this from another way. And what's of benefit to you here, maybe you're connecting into another Gemini, Aquarius, or a Libra. But there is a balancing within your mind, because there's been an imbalance here. And when our swords are mixed with the wands like this, great imbalance can happen. We can be fueled by desires. We can be fueled by passions. We can be fueled by anger. Our thoughts can be quite tumultuous, is what I'm feeling. And it's so well and good for anyone on the outside like myself to say, hey, chill, calm down. You're really spiraling down there. But it's quite another to experience that on a personal level. But I think that energy has only amplified for many Geminis that I'm connecting into, simply because you've avoided this on some level. Now, respectfully speaking, the Geminis that I'm connecting into will know exactly what I mean. But this is like, make no mistake, guys, this is a solo thing. It's like No one can travel our awakening and healing journeys for us but us. Everyone that we cross paths with is but a mirror. It is the spiritual classrooms of life where we integrate higher knowing, deeper healing. When our subconscious fears that ultimately are hindering us because, you know, they're coming into our awareness for a reason. This was about you balancing the divine masculine and divine elements of self so that our thoughts can be of a higher vibration, Gemini. You'll know in yourself whether your thoughts have been fueling you for greater good or not. And the reason I'm saying all this is because adversity has to happen to really identify a strong understanding about our self-esteem and how we're truly integrating the wisdom of our intuition, or we're allowing our thoughts to really cloud us to the point that it's affecting our self-esteem. Maybe there's been a lot of adversity and that we're only, you know, we're now shadow spiraling down and not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Again, I respectfully acknowledge that it's quite another thing altogether to walk that path as the individual. We've all had our deep awakenings, and we continue to awaken, continue to ascend out of old versions of ourselves, our old fears, and we get to address and face them head on. And that's what I'm seeing here. There's this head on, facing, meeting yourself in the mirror is what I'm feeling here. I really want to, so that you could balance the masculine aspects and the feminine aspects within self. All right. Let's see what soul wanted for you. Wow, Ace of Wands is mirrored again. King of Wands is mirrored again. The Knight of Wands. The Eight of Pentacles, the Ten of Swords, and the Hanged Man. Okay. Okay, I'm definitely seeing mirroring here with the King of Swords and the Ace of Wands. There's a message, King of Wands and the Ace of Wands, okay? There's definitely a message in that. This is the original idea, the original intention. It's a passionate, exciting. So this is the row from your higher self. Your higher self knew that it was about acknowledging this energy, this King of Wands energy and this Ace of Wands energy. But see here in this deck, he's actually looking at it now. Your higher self wants you to look at this thing. This, and it is like awakening. This is awakening energy. This is stuff from the past, okay? But again, there is heavy wands and swords energy down here, but except for the Eight of Coins. The Eight of Coins is, and I strongly feel like it's almost like many Geminis I'm connecting into have avoided the emotional body, and maybe that is of purpose because higher self doesn't necessarily want you to, well, higher self wants you to have a new relationship with the emotional body. That's the Ace of Cups. Higher self wants you to have a new connection to your emotional intelligence, your awareness of your emotions. How much you avoid your emotions is what I'm actually feeling here. You guys are so comfortable in the realms of thought, okay, to the point that it can get quite heated, quite passionate, quite confident and overconfident, okay, that it leads to like I said before, it's like an explosion has happened, and maybe that happened last October into December. All right, I'll explain that in a minute. Higher self wants you to acknowledge the influences of Jupiter. Okay, I'm going to say that's Jupiter because Jupiter is ruled by Sagittarius, and the King of Wands represents Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo. Okay, that doesn't look like the sun, obviously. That doesn't look like, it could be Mars. All right, so if that was Mars and Jupiter, Mars is our drive, our passions, our it's also the planet of war, and Jupiter is a planet of expansion and abundance. And when we expand anything, we're expanding what's already there. So we're expanding our passions, we're expanding. So we know our passions, our fire can expand into something, like a fire can rage out of control, or it can simmer as a warming kindle. Okay, our confidence can expand to the point that it's not genuine confidence, to the point that this fire can cause adversity in our life. And when it's raging out of, when we feel out of control, when our fires are out of control, Gemini, we can forget to use genuine, authentic intuition, and we can feel indecisive with our thoughts. Like there's a story here I'm feeling. The Mars activation, we've now got Aries entering Mars. Mars later goes retrograde later this year. Now, it's been 30 years since Aries has been in Mars and that we've experienced a retrograde, okay? This is quite the year for deep change. But there's wisdom in the battles we choose to fight. Maybe I'm connecting into Geminis that are used to conflict energy to the point that, you know, this internal conflict. There's a level of comfort that you've been able to tap into, Gemini, that you feel like you've been able to direct this energy and the role that it plays in your life. But what I'm feeling here, it's like it changes form for you in 2020. This, like, I'm really speaking cryptic here, and I feel really like there's subconscious stuff trying to come through here about the role of fire within you, how it sparks passion, and that can feel exciting, yes. But that can obviously amplify into something else. It can lead us into decisions and choices that are then out of our control, because each of our choices lead to decisions of others and so forth, okay? But the original desire was passion. The original desire was excitement. Sometimes we're making decisions based on excitement and passion that lead us to something that we can no longer control. Look, if you've got the Ten of Swords here, on some level you knew that this year was going to be about harnessing conflict. But this is about it being in my control. I wanted to change conflict on some level. Okay, but you've got the Ten of Swords here from your higher self. There's a transcendence energy here with this deck, with the Gilded Tarot, where the Ten of Swords, we can truly see the light at the end of the tunnel from our trauma and pain, and I feel many Geminis have been suppressing. It's almost like something happened. I don't know if it was September, October last year. I'm even going to say December. It could have been work-related or something about work. Connection at work that felt like this. If this happened, what's coming through? December last year. Maybe you were distracted with your work. Okay. There's an ending here. Now, I want to show you something. What was I picking up before? Bear with me, okay? Because underneath all this, this is what's on the bottom of the deck of Soul, the Seven of Swords, again. Did you get the Seven of Swords before? No. The Seven of Swords is, obviously, it's about lies and deception. It's about selfishness. It's about taking without letting others know what we've taken, or others have taken from us without us knowing. Look at him picking up those swords and just walking out the gate. See how he walks out the gate and into the field, leaving behind the two swords. Maybe there's a relevance behind the time frame of 2 years for some of the Geminis I'm connecting into. Maybe a cat is relevant. Beautiful Siamese there. All right. So he takes, in this card, he takes 5 swords with him. He's in control, okay? He's taking the conflict, he takes it with him, okay? Or he's taking from others and they don't know, all right? So this is lies and deception. He takes it with him in that card. And then look what happens by the time we get to the Ten of Swords. He's out there in the field, and it feels, you know, that 5 quickly turned into it being something a lot bigger than what I thought. Like my white lie turned into something, or someone's deception turned to something else, okay, is what I'm feeling here. See that reindeer? That's why I was saying Christmas time. Christmas time feels relevant here for a healing, or something happened around Christmas time, because you've got the Hangman. I'm seeing things, or I've removed myself since December. I'm awakening since December. I'm awakening to things that have betrayed me, how I've betrayed myself. I'm wanting, your higher self wants you to work on that this year. This is a commitment to working on something. And that's what I was feeling, Gemini. It's like there's something internal that you thought it was one size, but it's actually, that's the Five of Swords. It's actually another. There's something deeper here. And it has a lot to be, it has a lot to do with being ruled by passion, being ruled by our thought body, being ruled by our fire body and passions. It has a lot to do with our thought body and a deeper need to balance the thought body into a more wholesome, higher consciousness level, so that we have got the Queen and the King of Swords supporting us. There's a return of the past here, past actions, past people, so that true healing can happen. Where, you know, whether we're recalling memories, whether we're suddenly aware of things that have happened in the past, we're awakening and recognizing a need to heal and to go into temple. About the role control has played in our lives, okay? The King of Swords, again, that's you. The Queen of Swords is you in your highest element. I just find this King and Ace really relevant. It's almost like there was safety and authority and justification around my confident choices that I'm no longer confident about. I'm no longer confident about the choices I have made. I'm no longer confident about my path. I'm no longer even confident about my beliefs. You know, make no mistake, guys, we're in retrograde energy. We're really redoing things. We're ending chapters here. We're awakening to whole new ways of seeing self, our path, our past, our purpose in whole new ways. And it's about no longer deceiving ourselves. Like, I feel there are vital steps here that might even take you through to November and December this year, because November is your lunar eclipse, guys. November 30th, the end of November, is going to help you do a round table on the year that has been and what you have learned since December 2019, and how that ultimately catapulted. And look, maybe even the last 2 years are relevant, 5 years are relevant, 10 years are relevant, but there's a linking theme here, Gemini. You're awakening to a whole new version of yourself. You know, higher self definitely wants you to work on this and commit to this healing, okay? So that you can awaken to a whole new way of being. I see a lot of focus on the wands, and that's beautiful. You know, passion and excitement and confidence is great and all, but when we get to the heart of the matter, how much of it is authentic? How much of it is sustainable? Fires burn out. When we make, you know, what I keep hearing, this is what I keep hearing, and I don't know, maybe this has happened to you. Maybe you have done this to someone. But when we make choices based in the heat of the moment, they can leave long-standing consequences. You know, like, it's like making important decisions when our emotions are heightened. It's best to go in and go to temple, be wise and emotionally centered. The invitation for many Geminis I'm picking up is this refresh and reset of what your relationship is with your emotions, what your relationship is with love. Something's shifting. The hands of time are shifting here with the Wheel of Fortune. The past has come back to play for a reason. Come back in your, this is judgments about past action. It's opportunity to judge the actions of the past in one way or another. Like, this goes right back to childhood, right back to past lives, right back to a time when love felt congenial. When was the last time love felt congenial and I truly recognized and felt recognized? Look at this, 666. There's like harmony wanting to come through here. Look at this. Don't be scared of the number 666. 6 is the number of man. 6 is the number of harmony. Here's your cups. Here's your wands, here's your coins. And you know what? That is the most practical. For a sword, you are a sword, okay? You are the thought body. Here's your emotional body. Here's your energy body. Here's your physical body. Okay? In order for you to manifest these deeper desires, all right, and harmonize everything internal, like there's an awakening energy that I'm seeing here that is flooded with swords, flooded with passion, or flooded with wands, all right? A balancing has had to happen. How that balancing takes place is by really healing some deeper old stuff here. This is really old stuff that might even take you back to your childhood, the way in which you were taught how to love or not, your relationship with emotions and how they ultimately fuel self-esteem. We can act all confident and passionate as much as we like, but where is the genuine truth and the wisdom of authenticity in that? I'm not saying that I'm connecting into Geminis that do not feel confident and they're acting like that, but I want you to take that into consideration. Maybe we attract dynamics, relationships that are like that, and they're mirroring something to us. Maybe we are like that because we have to fake it until we make it, or we were driven by desires that, this is heat energy. I'm wanting to make decisions. This is what I'm feeling here when the Ace of Wands, King of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. It's non-committal. It doesn't last long. It is making decisions based in the heat of the moment. And what your higher self is wanting most for you is to truly heal the timelines of the past that go really, really far back and are all about your relationship with love and connection. Like there's a great opportunity here for many Geminis to embrace the Wheel of Fortune. The hands of time are offering many Geminis an opportunity to deeply heal. And I don't say that lightly. It can take quite the journey. It can take quite a lot of time. But I do see here how this perhaps kicked off. I don't know if it's because of someone you work with or it was work related is what I see here. Something about work that led to this, feeling stabbed in the back. Someone was at work working on something. Maybe last August into last October, and then by December there was a massive shift into this journey but in that time frame you were still hanging on to your passions. You were still standing strong in your confidence of harnessing passion energy, mental energy, fire energy in a certain way is what I want to say, Gemini. But that all comes crashing down, and it has an opportunity to come crashing down to truly balance you. You know, I talk about the 5 levels and bodies of being. We are more than just a physical body. We're an energy body, an emotional body, a thought body, and a soul. And focused only on our thoughts and our fire, only on our thoughts and our energy, can really disconnect us from a majority of what we are. Like this is about wholesome integration. 666 is balancing. Like you've got them right after the other. There's a karmic balancing here with the 6 of coins. You know, karma is at play here to balance the scales, balance everything, to truly recognize where energy needs to be returned and given back and whatever the case may be, or to be brought back into balance so that we can all get back to congeniality, okay? There was a time, like look at this, 6 and 7, where am I seeing this? There's a cat here. See the cat? But he's not really focused on the cat. This is the wisdom of the divine feminine. And there's a cat here. See how it's bigger? It really gets your attention. This one is like quite hidden and you have to really look for it. I thought it was a flame of light when I first saw it. Blink and you'll miss it. You forget the wisdom of the divine feminine when we're in this energy. You know, when we're in the 7 of Swords, sort of deception or self-centered or not communicating our truth anyway, we can really forget about the wisdom of the divine feminine, which is here in childhood, front and center. What is the divine feminine? It is nurture, it is intuition, it is all things that make us who we are, and it is an essential component of balancing with the divine masculine. It shows up in your consciousness. You knew that this would be happening on some level this year. This is the divine feminine aspect of the thought body, or at least of the swords, okay? And the King of Swords showed up earlier underneath the deck to meet her. But it's going to take quite a journey to meet this higher masculine concept of your thought body. Am I sounding too complicated? It's about going into temple. It's about recognizing the awakening opportunity. It's about healing stuff from the past and putting boundaries down to truly get to that awakening. You know this though. You know this on a consciousness level. Your higher self knows it's going to happen, or it wants it to happen for you. To me, personally, I feel like there's a 2 or 5 year story here. Healing does take a little while, but about that thorough integration, you know? There's an invitation here to truly work on this, Gemini. Alrighty. Adversity, it's about being a lighthouse, or how adversity has been a lighthouse for you, to point a light and show you the way towards energy connected to esteem and healthy self-esteem and intuition and indecision. All right, this is an upgrade not just to our third eye and base chakras, but our sacral chakra, our solar plexus, all right, and our throat chakra. There's a big overhaul here. All right, let's pull a beautiful unicorn card for you, my love. Like, because you are kicking off this retrograde, this ecliptical cycle, it's between now and November that you can really prepare. I can relate strongly to maybe the year before, okay? So there's like a timeline of 12 months. Look, I know what it's like to lead the North Node on an ecliptical cycle, and I strongly remember the year prior to that was like a hotbed of facing myself. And then I had a 2-year ecliptical cycle, leading the North Node, which is exactly the same position you're in, Gemini. So this year of 2019 into 2020, until November 2020, is like a very big opportunity, an open invitation from soul to do some deeper work here for you to make the most of your ecliptical cycle that is coming up between 2020 and 2022. So I'm just going to leave that there. It's huge. And what you get out of that is a whole new way of thinking, like authentically feeling, thinking, being. Like, if you want, that invitation is there. Not everyone takes the call, takes the invitation, you know. Celebration. And underneath the deck is anger. That's 2 contrasting cards, isn't it? There's an opportunity for celebration here, Gemini. A positive outcome is assured. Celebrate your successes and enjoy your achievements. You have come a long way. Your path is definitely worth celebrating. Your path will definitely be worth celebrating. Okay? You've got 2 wands here, my love. 2 Ace of Wands. This is a spark of divine fire for you to begin again. But first, I deeply feel there's an invitation here for some deeper healing and balancing. Okay? To activate all channels to the 5 bodies within. All right, my lovely Gemini, I hope that helps. Keep an eye out on the channel for 2 fortnightly readings in the month of July. And also, as I said earlier, unique to Instagram is the weekly quick read. So go ahead and check that out. It's already up there. I hope this has brought some resonance, opportunity, clarification and healing. If so, please do like, share, and subscribe, and let your empath and sensitive and intuitive friends know about the channel. So until next time, have a great month of July, Gemini. I'll see you then. Bye.